to abusive father.
Okay.
Go.
Are we recording? Via video statement, internet posting, print, television, talk radio, media distribution. This is an open letter respectfully transmitted on September 24, 2010 by Roxanne Grinage, HireLyrics Administrative Services, on behalf of 322 families nationwide, 42 working-class student and impoverished Pennsylvania families. Everything I do is to rescue Ezekiel Zakael Wright Leach Brown and Ariel Roxanne Brown, born to my daughter Lorraine Carlette Grinage on 9/22/2006 and 7/22/2008, and those CPS corruption in government destroyed children of all ages similarly situated. Strongest prayers for the rescue of children of all ages by CPS corruption, destroyed by CPS corruption in government. Contact Roxanne Grinage at HireLyrics.org, cell phone 229-395-0039 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Dear respected President of the United States, Barack Obama. Dear Pennsylvania gubernatorial candidate Dan Honorato. Dear Pennsylvania gubernatorial candidate Tom Corbett. Dear Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter. Dear Philadelphia District Attorney R. Seth Williams, with a courtesy copy to Mr. Eric Holder, United States Department of Justice. There exists a voting constituency of working-class, student, and impoverished families having specialized interests as crime victims created by official corruption, fraud, civil rights felonies inflicted. We have used free and low-cost services of the Internet to develop standard access to administrative solutions tools which gather evidence, depositions, and witness testimony, count victims, measure economy fraud and career theft costs, measure intent, culpability, or competency of official corruption assailants to responsibly verify, document, and whistleblow a nationwide child slaughter, U.S. economy fraud, court reform, state of emergency. Today, September 24, 2010, across the street from Philadelphia Family Courthouse, 1801 Vine Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we stand beneath the Angel's Fountain, having faith in Psalm 91. For he shall give his angels a command concerning you to lift you up, lest you cast your foot against any stone, representing 322 families nationwide and 42 Pennsylvania families who beseech our elected officials and those lobbying the interests of candidates to please recognize our quality of life impacting special interests as a voter constituency characterized by state court family division with state agency DHS and budget crisis compromise municipality corruption. President Barack Obama, you are respectfully addressed because you have the authority to declare a state of emergency and suspend systematic abuse of immunity language in congressional acts pending your executive officers' investigation of U.S. citizens' evidence gathered proving same. Certain U.S. District Court judges appointed for life, unaccountable to working-class, student, and impoverished victims of a nationwide child slaughter, U.S. economy fraud, court reform, state of emergency, are systematically abusing the immunity language in the 1983 Civil Rights Act to forsake judicial oaths they took to treat the rich and the poor fairly, and judicial canon codes of conduct, particularly 2B, outside relationships, to shirk jurisdictional responsibility for fairly adjudicating states' constitutions and U.S. constitutional federal questions, providing tag team court reform, state of emergency colleague protection, state agency employees malpractice, wealthy, well-connected bar association lawyers malpractice, taxpayer-paid Supreme Court and municipality lawyers, and certified public accountants malpractice. See July 6 civil rights complaint. See July 6, 2010 reported to Mr. Eric Holder, U.S. District Court, Pennsylvania Eastern District filing in all related dockets, an official corruption fraud civil rights complaint which catapulted my family irretrievably into a new civil rights movement. Families fight back. Say no more DHS demonic horror stories. Our working class and impoverished families constituency have learned that docket never lies. Child slaughter, U.S. economy fraud is measured in docket monitoring. On July 6, 2010, U.S. citizens public docket held due diligence data of, at the time, 35 working class student in impoverished Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, U.S. citizens whose health, educations, and careers are stolen by state court with state agency DHS with U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania imposed systematic abuse of immunity language in 1983 Civil Rights Act, destruction of lawful filings with filing fees, censorship and destruction of evidence, docket discrimination, docket censorship, docket manipulation, tyrannical false arrest, and imprisonment for flagrantly imposed aid and abet conflict of interest malpractice between state court with Recovery Act funded state and city of Philadelphia agency DHS lawyers, CPAs, and contractor beneficiaries, resulting in ongoing irreparable harms to U.S. citizen, working class, student, and impoverished U.S. citizen families living in city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Eastern District, and resubmitted and add updated evidence of a child slaughter, U.S. economy fraud, court reform, state of emergency, and whistleblower intervention referrals forced by transparency, accountability, professional responsibility, fraud, waste, corruption in government, state of emergency, measured in docket discrimination, and abuse of immunity language in a congressional act by and between conflict of interest, malpractice, First Judicial District Court, state agency, DHS, City of Philadelphia corruption in government, and U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, resulting in irreparable harms to working class student and impoverished U.S. citizen families residing in Pennsylvania's Eastern District, City of Philadelphia. See Figure 1, accurately restated evidence falsified by contextimony, docket discrimination, abuse of immunity language. Incredible acts of retaliation, some written about by the Daily News reporters, 322 nationwide, 42 Pennsylvanians reported to Roxanne, Grinage, HireLyrics Administrative Services, and tens of thousands having no vehicle or venue for redress of grievances have resulted in otherwise ethical counsel shying away from representing clients with evidence of business decimation or personal injury having been caused by court with DHS agency and wealthy lawyer colleague corruption. Please intervene. Appoint special prosecutors from outside Eastern District of Pennsylvania to enjoin, stop ongoing irreparable injuries inflicted by state court with state agency malpractice judges, commissioner DHS lawyers, and CPAs, which include but are not limited to systematic denial of due process, forced commercial transactions, theft of vested interest, career theft, personal injuries, disabilities, and wrongful death, victimizations inflicted upon, at the time, 35 and now 42, Roxanne Grinage doing business as U.S. citizens public docket database, verified and recorded working class, student, and impoverished Philadelphia families, perpetrated under color of law by Eastern District Court and First Judicial District Court, systematic abuse of immunity language in a Congressional Act 1983 Civil Rights Act. A documented modus operandi of official corruption, Recovery Act, wasting criminally siphoned money is contextimony and falsification of official court